Travis Thomas here. Hold my banner, episode 41. What player wore 41 that I like? Dirk, Glenn Rice. A lot of good 41s in NBA lore. Travis Thomas here with the walking, talking, triple-double, producer extraordinaire, Inglewood legend, more fire, Ante Campbell. What's going on, bro?
Not much, just keeping up with the Olympics. Man, these early games got me tired. I'm half sleepy on this episode. Man. But, you bring the energy, so I'm going to have to match it, Travis.
Let's go. Who are you watching now? Well, I actually saw Greece is struggling. I'll talk about that at the end of the show because I have a theory on Giannis being so upset. I also saw Wemby being guarded by like a 5'5" player.
Yeah.
That's not going to end well.
I was watching that game, of course, and then I was also up this morning watching the two accents that I love to make fun of, the Australian one and the Canadian one, eh?
Okay, so you gave me Canadian. You give me a little Aussie?
Oh, man, strip on the ball, man. Oh, man. Forgive me.
No,
It's terrible.
You're forgiven. I love it. We'll have more of Ante Campbell later in the show. Crikey! All right. Now that that's over, Ante and I are children, as you can see. Let's start with the adults. Team USA against South Sudan today. Woo! Now, I'm cautiously optimistic. You hear the excitement in my voice, but I'm cautiously optimistic against the South Sudan team because we all know what happened the last time Team USA played these guys. Exhibition round. Now it counts. So my gut says, much like against Serbia, Team USA will flip that switch and it's on and they'll handle business. But we can all acknowledge what we already watched with this matchup, can't we? South Sudan doesn't even have any NBA players. However, do they not look like one? The athleticism, the speed, the pace in which they play, the urgency. I mean, these guys were flying all over the place, jumping out the gym. I saw guys dunking on NBA players, screaming on them. I'm like, what is going on here? It was like a fever dream. My gut, again, Team USA shuts all that down this time around. And I see they're heavy favorites in terms of gambling, but they were heavy favorites in the exhibition round. That didn't mean a damn thing. I mean, they escaped with a win. Remember, LeBron had the game winner. South Sudan missed a shot that would have won the game for them, and it was a bunny, too. They should have made that. They miss it. Okay, fine. I mean, Steve Kerr, can you do something right? Please, for the love of all things holy. Can you have your team prepared? Because that's what I think happened last time. I think it was good old-fashioned American arrogance. I really do. I think they slept on them. South Sudan, yeah, please. Okay, we got that. And guess what happened, right? So this time around, Steve Kerr, just have everything buttoned up, please. I'm done asking you to not start Joel Embiid. I've been asking for that. You ain't listening. So maybe this request, you'll actually listen. Just have these boys ready to go, buttoned up, focused, so they're not shocked. They're not surprised. They're not caught off guard by South Sudan's talents. Because say what you want. I think some of them are in the G League or whatever. But those boys, they look like an NBA team to me. A damn good one, too. Athletic as hell. Now, look, when you know what hits the fan, let's just say worst case scenario, South Sudan does it again, okay? And they're in this game, and we got a nail biter. When you know what hits the fan, at least, you can't count on Steve Kerr. At least you can count on LeBron. You can count on Steph. And now you can count on Kevin Durant to just bail us out, take over the game, close the show, whatever it takes. Ultimately, I do believe they'll be prepared. We'll be fine. And one thing Steve Kerr can do to make me happy here is not only have this team ready to go against South Sudan today, but it's to actually, play Jason Tatum. Like, at all. Ultimately, because of what happened, because of the public perception, quite frankly, because of the public humiliation and embarrassment, both for the player and the coach, I think we'll see Jason Tatum with significant minutes. Now, let's talk about this public humiliation thing. Let's start from a player perspective first, because we've all heard it. I'm not even from Boston, but just the fact that I'm here and I'm covering this team, covering the Celtics, my phone blew up of friends from the outside texting me like I'm Steve Kerr. Hey, your boy didn't even play. What's up with that? Ho, ho, ho. Bruh, come on. Really? How about Twitter? How about all the memes with Jason Tatum? How about all the one-liners about, I mean, they're kind of funny, but still, the one-liners about being a ball boy, you know, go fetch Gatorade or something. Like, it's just like, oh, my God, like, we're doing this? Really? Get my towel. Okay. So you have that from a Tatum standpoint. From a Kerr standpoint, you got guys like me and others who gave him the business. I mean, as we should. You can't find 1 minute for this guy? Seriously? First team All-NBA? NBA champion? He doesn't play? Yeah? Really, Steve? Really? He didn't fit your combinations? Come on, bro. Even Steve Kerr himself said, gosh, I just feel like an idiot. You're damn right you feel like an idiot, because it was an idiotic move, which you didn't do, which is play the guy. So because of all that, don't sleep on that. You know, I could see Kerr giving Tatum some minutes. And by the way, Tatum did not play well in the exhibition games. So he already hasn't had the best showing you've ever seen. And now he's not getting playing time. So I'm thinking he gets time today. Kerr gets him in there to get people off of his back. And, you know, Tatum's deserving of it. And then Tatum's going to want to go in there and play well because he hasn't yet. And then he was just embarrassed against Serbia. A blowout win, by the way. You still can't find minutes for him. Yeah, sure. So I think both parties today, Steve Kerr and Jason Tatum, you know, kind of have a point to prove a little bit. And in terms of Jason Tatum playing today against South Sudan, I think he will play well. And thank God, because I'm just going to sit there like it's about time, you know, for both. You getting time in these games and also you starting to play like the player we all know you are and that you should be. So I think Tatum plays well against South Sudan today. Team USA, the women have no problems, no such issues, no such drama, hot knife through butter. I mean, they already have a record straight 7 gold medals. They're vying for their record 8th gold now, and they're going to get there. I mean, these ladies are just so dominant. It's ridiculous. But one thing I've noticed in watching them, both in the exhibition games and against Japan, is that these other teams, and I don't think it comes from a place of frustration during the game. I think it comes from a place of pregame, this is our strategy. These other teams are so physical. It's borderline dirty. It borderline feels like you're trying to take our players out. And listen, to be honest with you, I sort of understand that game plan. I mean, if I were on the other side of this and there was some other country, I don't know, pick one, Canada, whoevs, that were dominant in women's basketball and won all these gold medals, 7 straight, going for 8th. And Team USA, every time we played them, we just got punked, right? We got pushed around. I would want Team USA to come in physical. Go at them. Don't be afraid. Don't be intimidated. Knock someone on their keister. Like, I get it. So I'm not necessarily knocking the other teams, but boy, when you watch these games, doesn't it just look like they're just trying to take us out? You can't beat them, right? You can't beat them up. And that's what they're trying to do. By the way, Asia Wilson, our best player, I thought had a great quote after the game, after they beat Japan, where she said, by the way, she had 24 points. I'm looking at it now. 24 points, 13 boards in that game. I mean, dominant, right? But she summed it up perfectly after the win. She said, when asked about the physicality, she said, quote, it was a wake-up call, and you get the first punch. So don't get punched first. And I think that's right. I mean, these teams are coming for you. They cannot physically beat you. Just think about our country in general. You're not going to out-tough the USA in anything ever. That's just not going to happen. You gotta beat us. You got to actually have the skill to get it done. So, I mean, these teams are coming in like we can't compete with this. I was looking at this. The front court, including Wilson, Asia Wilson, Stewie, Brittany Griner, the size alone in Team USA's front court is why these teams are like, we just can't compete with that. That's just the front court. I'm not even talking about the guards and the other forwards on the team. The front court itself is so big and physical. Wilson, Stewie, Brittany Griner, these teams can't compete with that. So they're going to come in and they're going to try to rattle you, push you around, get physical with you. It's going to look borderline dirty. And you know what? It doesn't even matter. Team USA, hot knife through butter. Every time, every game, doesn't matter. Whatever your game plan is, it's not going to work. You're too small. We're going to beat you up. And for that, these ladies are about to get their 8th straight gold medal. No doubt about it. All right, let's bring them back. Ante Campbell there. I gave you a little Australian accent at the top, and then I closed it out with a little Canadian for you, my friend.
Yeah, definitely. And those two teams just kind of make me think of a point that I was coming up with as you were talking. It's just like, you look at the men's, you look at the women's, and you can nitpick. Because I was sitting there, obviously, wanting to nitpick, being the analyst of this sport now, just being like, okay, if there's a reason why these two teams, the U.S. men's and U.S. women, shouldn't win a gold medal in these games, what would it be? And, you could sit there and be like, oh, the women, they didn't come out and finish at the rim like they should have. They played some lackadaisical defense early on, got punched in the mouth a little bit like Asia was talking about, but then they figured it out, right?
Right.
Well, you look, and both teams won by 26. And it brought me to those two games, the two countries that you were talking about when I was watching Canada play and when I was watching Australia play in the morning. They were just very, dependent on the one star. And so then I go and I think, I'm like, okay, well, Serbia is obviously dependent on Jokic. Greece is dependent on Giannis.
Right.
Japan lost the game because Rui was going off and got ejected for no reason.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And France is nothing without Victor Wembanyama. If he's not playing well, they're not good.
Yeah.
And then this was the same thing with Canada. With SGA, he got 2 fouls early, so Australia hung in the game.
Yep.
Australia was only hanging in the game because Josh Giddey is a system, which is funny for us to say, but that dude has been hooping.
He can ball. No one's ever questioned his basketball acumen. It's off the court. Everyone's questioned.
I don't know. He can't shoot the ball that. He's not a great off the ball player. I'll say that. So him and SGA probably just won't work. In Chicago, maybe he has an opportunity to work. But, I just, we were sitting here so worried about the showcase games, and maybe some people sitting at home are worried about the game today against South Sudan because of what happened in the exhibition. But, I sit here and I think, none of these teams are teams. And this USA team is now becoming a team on both the men's and the women's side.
Sure.
So there's nothing to worry about. I'm sitting back.
Really?
Yeah, I'm sitting back.
Even after what you watched the last time we saw these guys, huh?
Yes. After what I watched, everything that I've seen, honestly, seeing Canada and France play basketball recently, too, it just made me relax. I know we talked about it before these games started, being like these are the two teams to be afraid of. And now I'm like, who are they?
Right.
Forget about them. They're trash.
Yeah.
So
South Sudan's tough, dog.
I'm willing to guarantee here today that both the men's and the women's team will win gold, and neither country, nowhere on either side will any country come within 15 points.
Nada, near nada. 15 points.
15 points in a game.
I may take that bet on the men's side. I think somebody will cover that 15. Could happen today.
Could.
But I think along the way, listen, bro. All right, let's take the women out of it because we just agree across the board. They're going to be fine.
Yep.
I'll tell you who I don't have faith in. Ready?
Okay.
I'll give you a power ranking
Of
who I have.
Yeah, let me hear it.
Ye of little faith.
Okay.
Number 1 seed, not even close to Steve Kerr. In a tight game.
Yeah.
Where a team has a chance to cover that 15 points you're spotting me.
Yep.
I do not trust Steve Kerr to make the necessary adjustments to ensure that you're right.
Okay.
Okay, does that make sense?
Yep.
he won't tinker with the lineup enough for Team USA to pull away as they should. Mm-hmm. That's number one. Second on the power ranking, and this is really it. Anyone not named Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, or LeBron James. Okay. I don't trust you either. The end.
Stop. I told you about that. You're gonna put respect on those Anthonys, all right? Edwards and Davis.
Yeah, but they gotta play, here. Right? Like
they play.
That's on Kerr.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. So anyone not named LeBron James, Kevin Durant, or Steph Curry, I don't trust you. It may not be your fault, but I don't trust it.
Whatever, man. All right, so we talked about France, and we talked about Victor Wembanyama. Obviously, he had a great game, finished the game the right way, huge double-double. I want to do a stop me win with him. So stop me win. Okay. You hear a better player than Victor Wembanyama.
This is going to be a silent-ass segment, dog, because I'm telling you right now, bro. I mean, I'm willing. I don't know if there's anyone. I'm just going to be honest. I have never in my life. None of us have. I'm not breaking any news. Mm-hmm. I'll speak for all of us. None of us have seen this. This size, this agility, this speed, the handles. He blocks shots. He can shoot. The only knock, it's not even a knock now. The only question I had about him was the dog.
Yeah.
And I saw it.
Well, look, I'm willing to question, is he a winner at this point?
I mean,
in his career so far, because France was getting their butt kicked going into the Olympics.
Yeah.
They got bailed out. Japan, a lucky call at the end of the game. Rui getting ejected when he was frying them up. They got lucky, Travis.
Yeah.
So
that was overtime, right? Was that an overtime game?
Yeah, it went into overtime because they called that foul.
That's right.
On the 3-point shot, which I don't, maybe. Grade school foul. I don't know if you call that in a JV game. But,
right.
It is what it is. But, all right, let's get into this, man.
Let's do it.
For all players that are current, obviously, it's where they are at right now. For former players, it's peak. First guy on the list, Chet Holmgren.
I'm going Wembanyama, but Chet at least is a good comp, Ante. Mm-hmm. He can do all the same things that Wemby can do. I just don't think as explosive. I think the difference between those two, A, is durability. Chet's had some issues, right? Yep. But B, it just seems like Wemby, with all the freakish stuff he has, he's still explosive. Mm-hmm. Where Chet is just freakishly big and has that skill set. I don't see the same explosion that Wemby does.
Yeah.
So I'm going Wemby.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a fair comp.
It's fair. It's obvious. All right.
It's a fair comp.
What about his French teammate, Rudy Gobert?
Come on, dog. You gonna are you trying to have me cuss? You want me to cuss? I'm not trying to cuss.
Pepe Le Pew.
Come on, man. Get that bleep out of this bleep.
Right.
Bleep.
What about the guy here in Boston, Kristaps Porzingis?
Did you say Pepe Le Pew?
Pepe Le Pew.
Another comp, but same as I said about Chet. He's just not explosive enough. Mm-hmm. And there's durability issues.
Yeah.
But a good comp. But Wemby.
Yep.
Easy.
Okay. Remember, peak for guys who are former players.
Yeah, I got it.
Chris Bosh.
Oh. I mean, man, I got to go Wemby. Woo. You know why?
Okay, why?
The size. Bosh is a 7-footer. I'm rounding up. Yeah. I know some people say 6'10" or whatever. He's 7 foot tall. Mm-hmm. The Chris Bosh I watched in Toronto was my favorite. I get the heat and he's a champ and all that. Mm-hmm. I like Toronto Chris Bosh. I thought he was awesome.
Yeah.
I loved watching him play. Double machine, easy work. I mean, he could do everything. He could shoot, post moves galore. He would put you in a blender.
Yeah.
Up and unders. Jump hooks both hands, 15-footer, forget about it, water. He could shoot the three, play defense. He had dog. Mm-hmm. He had everything.
Yeah.
That's a peak I'm going off of.
Right.
I liked Toronto Bosh.
With the dreads.
Yes. But again, peak Bosh on Wemby. Wemby is putting him in an and one mixtape segment. I'm sorry. Okay. If it's in the post, he can body him because he's taller. if it's out on the perimeter, he can hit him with that Chris Bosh ain't had that ying. Chris Bosh, he could stretch. He could shoot.
Hey, he could put the ball on the floor.
Not like Wemby.
He could put the ball on the floor.
Not like Wemby.
All right,
Not
man.
like Wemby.
All right, I'm tired of the Chris Bosh disrespect. All right, Tony Parker, another Frenchman.
I mean, bro, he's an old timer, bro. I'm taking Wemby, bro. I don't think you can name anyone.
We're gonna find it. We're gonna find it.
I don't think so.
Pau Gasol.
I love Pau. I love him. I'm taking Wemby. What's Gasol gonna do defending him? Nothing.
Hey, Pau Gasol, extremely savvy player, and we saw what he does on the Olympic stage as well. You didn't want to see Pau Gasol when he's wearing España on the front of his jersey.
Let me ask you this.
What's up?
Wemby's bringing the ball up the court. You want Gasol out there checking him? No.
Okay, but you want Wemby guarding Gasol in the post? No.
But I got a better chance of that than him picking him up out there on the perimeter.
Okay, you're rocking with that. That's your take. That's not mine. Anthony,
you take Gasol?
I would definitely take.
Would
Gasol.
you take Prime Bosh?
For right now? Because obviously not projecting. This is not projecting. This is the Victor Wembanyama I see today.
Right. Yes.
I'm taking Pau Gasol, and I'm taking Chris Bosh as well.
And you would take Bosh. Okay.
But all right. Anthony Davis. Yeah, I knew I was gonna find a guy that was gonna make you think real hard. Anthony Davis.
You found a guy because Anthony Davis at his core is really a defensive player.
Yes,
who worked on his offense.
Right.
Ironically, I think we're watching peak Anthony Davis now. Is that fair for me to say?
Low key.
Right? Because like in New Orleans, he was still learning the offensive capabilities.
Yeah.
And certain nights he'd give it to you, but like consistent wise,
he was still raw in New Orleans for sure.
In LA, he did have some injury issues, but it seems to me like he's kind of overcome that in the past few seasons. He's been pretty healthy.
Yeah, he's been
nicked
healthy.
up here and there, but not like he's not missing significant time like he was.
100%.
I kind of think we're looking at peak Anthony Davis now.
Yeah.
And, I'd have to go back and look at the numbers of those two matched up.
Yeah.
I'm willing to bet Anthony Davis was probably giving Wemby work.
Yeah.
And not that Wemby wasn't getting his, but I would think Anthony Davis is a problem. I would think Wemby looks at Brow and says, damn, this is going to be a long night,
Right.
I guess you did find a guy. You did find a guy.
That's the guy?
Yeah. Is that it? Is that all the people you're naming?
No, I have a couple more just in case.
Guy. That is a guy. I didn't think you'd find one. That's one.
All right. Then obviously King James.
Yeah, I mean, I'm taking Bron always.
All right. And then Wayne Durant.
I'm taking Durant, but I like Kevin Durant, the defender. Mm-hmm. I don't think he can do anything with this kid, bro. I don't. At least Bron, I feel like, can body him.
Yeah.
Kevin Durant can't body Wemby. Kevin Durant can't stay in front of Wemby. I'm telling you, I don't think you're giving enough. What I notice about you, you're not giving Wemby them damn handles, bro. He got that thing on a yo-yo, dog.
He is, but
he's a problem.
I told you, I was watching second half of that game against Japan, and he shot like they were in a match, and he's 7 foot. Bro, why are you shooting threes from 35 feet?
Right.
He did it like 3 times, and he hit like the 4th one.
That's why he thinks he can hit those.
And got all hype and everything. I think that's the picture we have showing on the screen right there. Is him getting hype after hitting that three.
Yeah,
but it's just like, bro, like
go.
He's still a young guy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like he thinks young. Like we know what he can do.
Right.
But he still thinks like a young guy, and it's like, bro, you're 7 foot. Go dunk on somebody.
Right.
Like you literally had the Jordan outstretched arm picture, Space Jam. The other night in your first Olympic game, go do that.
Fact. I can't not take Kevin Durant, but I just have concerns.
I'm with you with that. And
I have concerns.
And then the last guy, and then I'll tell you the stats that I found between AD and Wemby.
I'm willing to bet AD gave him work. Who's the last guy?
The last guy is Tim Duncan. Yeah, I know who you're taking.
I'm taking Tim Duncan.
Yeah. You're the greatest power forward of all time.
Yeah, I'm taking Tim Duncan. But again, it's just that damn perimeter, dog. Like I'm having a problem seeing my all-time greats who didn't play in this era. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? Like,
yeah.
I'm having a hard time seeing them extend their great defensive games out to try and stop this clown out on the perimeter who's got the handles. Now, he's not taking advantage of those gifts all the time, as you've laid out. But if he decides, I'm going to get Tim Duncan out here because I don't think he could stay in front of me, I think Tim Duncan's cooked.
Yeah.
I really do. But, I'm taking Tim Duncan.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to give you the Wemby stats. So these are the two matchups that Anthony Davis and Wemby have had against each other, right? I'm going to just give you the averages because they kind of played really similarly against each other. So Wemby averaged 28 and a half, 11 and a half rebounds.
Oh, my God.
And 5.5 blocks against AD. AD averaged 32 and a half points, 11 and a half rebounds, and 2.5 steals against Wemby in the two games.
Bro, so AD did better, but Wemby gave him work.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, dog. We're going to have a different conversation about this kid shortly. I don't think it's going to take long. Yeah. He's got to start winning, and that's on the Spurs.
Wemby did shoot 48% from the field, and AD shot 62%. So he was
taking him
down
low.
He was just getting efficient baskets.
Body.
Wemby was 4 for 5 and 3 for 8. He shot, what is the percentages? 53% from 3 in the matchup, and then AD he only shot 4 threes.
Yeah, he
was
didn't.
2 for 4.
He was taking him in the paint, which is smart.
Yeah.
Here's my concern, though. I don't even know how to word this without sounding disrespectful, but so I'm just gonna be. It's gonna be what it's gonna be.
Yep.
All these big guys have foot issues or injury, lower body issues as they age. All of them. I wonder with Wemby's build and with Wemby's skill set, because he's not just living in the paint.
Yeah.
This is not Yao Ming we're talking about. This is a guy that can take you anywhere on the court and give you problems. I wonder durability and duration of his career. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, Ante.
Yeah.
If this dude plays a long time and is injury free or minimal injuries, bro, we may be watching history. This guy.
Okay, hold on. Because I asked this a question in the content center earlier. I want to ask, are we watching a potential GOAT right now?
Yes. I'm willing to say that. Listen to my concern. It wasn't basketball related. It was health.
Right.
Ante, if he stays healthy, because he's only going to get better.
Yeah.
Bro, who can do this? We've never seen. This is Shohei Ohtani in baseball. And people say, well, Babe Ruth. No, stop.
The one thing that I'm worried about is those GOAT conversations, they get real finicky about winning,
right. But
he might not even have a chance to go down as the greatest Spur just because of what Tim Duncan was doing early on in his career as well. You know what I'm saying?
But okay, so that kind of plays into my question.
Yeah.
If he's healthy for a long time, many moons.
Yep.
And he doesn't win, fine. But if he's healthy for a long time, I'm having a hard time thinking he's not going to win. Bro.
Right.
He might not win on the level. He might not get all the rings. Maybe, right? Because to be the GOAT, you're going to have to get hella rings.
Yep.
If he only gets 2 or 3, call it.
Yep.
He likely can't be the GOAT. But, man, I already feel like we're watching history when we watch this kid. If he could play a long time, Ante, I think you are. I think he has entered that chat.
Wow.
I do. He's got to win. But, man, health is my only concern for him. Now, I did not name one basketball thing that I'm concerned about Wemby. It's health.
It's not a hot take. It's really not. He has the tools and things that we've never seen.
He's unbelievable.
Before. He is.
Bro, when I saw clips of him, all the hype.
Yeah.
I was like, let's see him do it in the NBA.
Yeah.
That's all. I was so arrogant. Okay. Someone's going to put a body on that.
Right.
And then he's doing it in the NBA. I'm like, oh, my God, this is really happening.
Right, yeah. That, all this Wemby talk and, talking about what could happen and all this other stuff has me thinking a little bit. I want to talk about our favorite what-if moments in NBA history. Now, this conversation kind of got brought up to me because I was scrolling through Twitter. I was getting ready to make this rundown.
Yeah.
And I saw some Len Bias highlights. And first thing that comes to mind when you think of Len Bias is like, okay, what if Len Bias got the opportunity to play, for the Celtics? So, I just kind of want to hear some of your favorite, and I'll tell you some of my favorite what if moments in the NBA history.
Well, you know where I'm from, man. So, Len Bias is still talked about. You can go in any barbershop in the DMV right now, and they're talking about Len Bias and what if. They're having this conversation around him. So that's obviously one of them. I think about, I'm a kid of the 90s, and I had his shoes. I had the Fila Grant Hills, man.
Fila? Not the Filas.
Yeah, I did. Grant Hill was special.
Yeah.
And, it's just unfortunate what happened to him. Penny Hardaway was special. It's unfortunate what happened to him. I think about injuries.
Yep.
Brandon Roy, Derrick Rose. I always, in these conversations, go to what if so-and-so could have stayed healthy. Yeah. That's why I brought it up with Wemby. Mm-hmm. I've watched it play out too many times, especially with big men. Right. So I would go there. I would say the injuries. Chris Paul getting blocked by, I think it was David Stern, if I'm not mistaken, rest his soul. But the NBA block, was it Stern? I don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah, David Stern.
It was Stern at that time. Blocking Chris Paul going to the Lakers. That was insane to me.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was fair back then, and I still think about that randomly. What if Chris Paul and Kobe played together? Wow. Because Chris Paul, we say, chokes in big moments. That wouldn't have been a problem with the Black Mamba. Mm-hmm. Give him the ball and get out of the way, and you just be you. Chris Paul would have probably had every assist record known to man.
Right.
Even Chris Paul getting hurt on the Rockets team that was up 3-1 on the Warriors, I think about. Because that changes everything.
Yep.
If you keep that Rockets, if they beat the Warriors, first you change history in terms of the Warriors, but also that Rockets team stays together. Right. They're going to make that work. So now, instead of the Warriors having that dynasty, you have a winner of Warrior Rockets wins the championship, right? Which we saw over time as well with Spurs, Lakers, things like that. So those are mine.
Yeah,
what are yours?
Yeah. You were talking, and then you were talking about injury, and it kind of made me think of another one. I got in my mind Greg Oden. Could you imagine if Greg Oden never got hurt and he had the opportunity to play with B-Roy and freaking LA, LaMarcus Aldridge? Dude, that team could have been special. But
you're right.
I had three that I wanted to list off really quickly too. Melo, either one, him getting drafted by the Pistons, which is the obvious one. People always talk about what could have happened. I really think about it in terms of Melo's legacy and how we view the Detroit Pistons as well.
Sure.
I think we kind of view them as a little bit of a poverty franchise now, besides the fact of that championship that they won in, what was that, 2008? And then obviously the championships,
the Bad Boys
days. So obviously we think of those teams. And I think we would think of Melo differently, but also if he would have teamed up with Bron and Wade and Bosh in Miami, which obviously was a little bit on the table, how we would view Melo, would he rise higher in the top three, in the top small forwards conversations?
He would have won.
Yeah.
Which is what you were saying about Wemby, right?
Right.
All the stats, all the stuff doesn't matter if you don't win. That's Melo. Melo won in college, but in the pros, he didn't win.
Yeah. And then the other one that I wanted to go to is 2016. If the Thunder did not blow that 3-1 lead, that's just kind of an interesting one. Okay, does Kevin Durant end up winning that championship against the Cavaliers?
Right.
How does that change his legacy? Does that change Steph's legacy? Not being a 4-time champion, maybe he only gets 2 now.
I went Rockets, you went Thunder.
You're right.
Pretty much same thing.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Right, it changed everything.
Yep. So, just how we would view Kevin Durant, and all of those things as well. And then in the 2014 draft, this is one that people don't talk about a lot.
What?
But they had the Milwaukee Bucks drafted Jabari Parker with the second overall pick.
I liked his game.
With the third overall pick. And mind you, at the time, no one would have done this. Jabari Parker was the right pick.
He was a truth.
Based off of what we
just
saw
had injuries
in college, right?
Yeah.
But if the Milwaukee Bucks took the pick that was taken with the 3rd overall pick and took Joel Embiid, what would that have looked like with him and Giannis together?
Yeah, that would have been interesting.
That would be super interesting. I think like they would have hands down best defense in the league. It didn't matter what guard you paired up with.
That would be interesting. I'm also thinking about Joel Embiid early.
He missed a lot of time. Yeah.
So I don't know. Some of it's that too. It's like Philly bought into that nonsense, the process and all that.
Right.
Some of me
maybe
wonders
Milwaukee wouldn't have. Right.
I wonder if they would have given up on him.
Well, yeah, and they also, you have to remember at the time they did have a lot of like injury history with their bigs. Like John Henson got injured a lot.
Yeah, that's right.
Larry Sanders had to end his career early on. Even he was great, a great big that they were supposed to have, Larry Sanders.
Yeah,
and he had to end his career early due to injuries as well. So they probably would have gotten nervous and jumped out off of the boat soon. But, in my what if scenario, like what if they kept these two together and just built them up, two skinny young guys, and figured it out. It took Giannis
a minute too to bulk up and all that. Right. Yeah, that's a good point. By the way, for all the latest of Boston sports and pop culture, check out Boston Has Entered the Chat. Tune in on Nesson's YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, wherever you get your podcasts, and make sure you follow us on all your social media accounts for all of our best content. What's going on around the league? I see the Trailblazers have a little love triangle action going. What's happening there?
So they're expected to either move at least one of these guys, either Jeremy Grant or Anthony Simons. I want to know, which one would you keep?
Yeah.
Or which one they should if they should shop both of them.
I mean, this isn't going to fly over well back in the DMV I was talking about, because Jeremy Grant's a local kid back there. But I think you got to move him. I mean, Simons is younger.
Right.
And I know he got hurt, but like technically he was having a career year. So I think you got to stick with that. And they've been waiting on him, I feel like. They've been waiting on him to kind of figure it out. And it appeared as though he did. So I think you have to keep him and move Jeremy Grant. Even though I love Jeremy Grant, I think you got to move him. He's older, and it's a young man's game.
Yeah, I would argue that you need to shop both, and I agree. And I would agree that Jeremy Grant's a little bit older and doesn't fit their team's timeline, so that's probably why you get him out of there. I think that they're probably sitting there, and just like how we were talking about, the Bucks might be a little wary with having the injury history. This team is wary of having two small guards who don't defend, with Scoot and Anthony Simons as their backcourt, because they've seen it before with Dame and C.J. McCollum.
That's right.
So I think they should probably try to shop both and let Anthony play. Let Jeremy play, because we know both of them always start off the first 20 games cooking people.
Yep.
Then shop them both while they're hot, and people still have that high image in their mind, because the league is one of those leagues where people are paying attention to what's going on now. They're human just like us, these people making these decisions. And so then at that point, probably get rid of both of them.
Fair enough. I see here at the end of the show you wanted some gambling, which is my middle name. I'm your Huckleberry. What you want to do, baby? Let's do it.
Yeah, we did a little gambling in the last episode, and I want to talk some win totals again. All right. Obviously, the Lakers and the Heat didn't really do much over this offseason. So I wanted to say, would you rather bet Lakers over 43.5 wins or Heat over 44.5
This is easy, Lakers. And I'm not some Bronny fan here, because that's all they really did, right?
Yeah.
I already told you, I'm an Anthony Davis fan. I know you are. LeBron's LeBron. That team cannot beat Denver in a series, or some of your top Western Conference team in a series. But there's no question that the Lakers are relevant. The Lakers are a good basketball team. The Lakers will be right back in the playoffs. And we'll see in terms of matchups if they can actually win a series or not. But the matchups is what does them in. I have zero faith in the Miami Heat. I think Pat Riley has lost his fastball. I think Jimmy Butler's on his way out. That writing's on the wall. They are headed for a rebuild, quick, fast, and in a hurry. I do not believe in the Heat, and I don't believe they make the postseason this season.
Wow. Okay, I'm not willing to say that. I think Hero's going to be healthier this year, my thing is, I'm going to bet on this. Hero being healthier. Bam actually finally showing us range out the three-point line, which he's been doing for Team USA this summer, and they've been challenging them to do.
Yep.
So I'm going to say that I would rather. Now, I wouldn't bet my money on either of these, but I would rather bet mine on the Heat because I also think the East is still the East. It's weak.
Right.
So I'm going to take my money over there.
All right.
The next one that I wanted to ask you about is the Pelicans and the Kings. Pels, would you rather take the Pels over 45.5 wins or the Kings under 46.5 wins?
No, I believe in the Kings, so I wouldn't bet anything under on them. Mm-hmm. I believe in the Pellies too. You know, I'm a big. I told you the DeJounte Murray move was fantastic. I thought it does not appear as though there are any suitors for Brandon Ingram.
Right.
Great. I like that big three.
To force them to play here.
Yes, I think it works.
Yeah.
And I understand I think they're just over Brandon Ingram.
Yeah.
And I get it, but I just think DeJounte, him, and Zion work.
Yep.
What you gotta have, and you know where I'm going here, so I'm not even gonna make all the jokes like I want to. Mm-hmm. Zion has to show up in shape. He must.
Yeah.
There are two players this offseason that if they're not working out right now as you and I do this podcast, they're effing up. Mm-hmm. It's Luka and it's Zion.
Yeah.
That's it. If he comes in shape, stays healthy, and you get Brandon Ingram, DeJounte Murray, and Zion, give me the over.
Yeah. I think I would rather take Kings under.
Really?
Yeah, just because I think
tripping, dog.
Early on they're going to have spacing issues and they're going to have to figure that out, right? Having DeMar DeRozan, having Fox, having Sabonis, three guys who aren't great three-point shooters might clog it up.
Yeah.
They'll eventually get into a stride where they figure it out.
Fair.
But I think it's going to be a little bit of a slower start than what people expect. So I would just rather take the under. Once again, I would never want to bet these. These are hard decisions to make.
Yeah.
Last, I got to ask you about the 76ers and the Suns. Two teams I know you're low on. So would you rather take the 76ers over at 52.5 games or the Suns over at 46.5?
I mean, it's going to be 76ers by default because I want no parts of the Suns. Tyus Jones was a good signing, too, and I still think they're going to suck.
Great signing.
The 76ers hate is new for me. I actually was on. I thought them getting Paul George was fantastic.
Yeah.
The hate stems from Joel Embiid absolutely playing like a piece of trash for Team USA.
Right.
That's where my hate has come. And now it's actually filtered over less on him and more to Steve Kerr for continuing to start. So, like, even my hate for Embiid and the Sixers has dissipated a little. So I would take the 76ers over 52.5 wins. I'm back on. I love what they've done this offseason. I still hate Joel Embiid on Team USA, but I can table that for this discussion. If I'm gambling, I do not trust the Suns at all, even with Tyus Jones.
Yeah.
I mean, this isn't Isaiah Thomas or John Stockton or Magic Johnson we're talking about.
Yeah.
He's not going to come in there and fix all their problems, okay? He's not that great.
Right.
So screw the Suns.
Right.
No part. I'd bet the under on the Suns, not the over. So give me the 76ers. What say you?
I got to go with the Suns over on this one because just like how you were talking about Embiid has made you a non-believer in the 76ers, KD's play in game one of the Olympics made me a believer of his play in the Suns. So I'm going to just rock with KD and the Suns on this one.
Well, I'm rocking with you, my friend. I appreciate you. There he is, Ante Campbell the Great. We'll see him on the next Hold My Banner. I want to end it here. We actually talked about this. I mean, Giannis has to be ticked off right now. Greece, his beloved country, has not won a game in the Olympics, and bro is balling. You know, he looks like Giannis and all. He's healthy. He is doing everything. They haven't won a game. Meanwhile, remember, he didn't even play in the postseason in the NBA because of a calf injury, right? Clearly, he's healthy now. Clearly, he is going to be ticked off with how Greece has played in international play. Combine that with him not even playing the last postseason and the Bucks going out with a whimper because, remember, Dame got hurt and they just didn't matter. I'm not saying the Bucks are going to beat the Celtics, but I'm saying Giannis is going to destroy everyone next season. I think it's revenge tour city for this guy. Give me Giannis Antetokounmpo at 7-1 to win the MVP next season. I think he is going to be out there with a vengeance. For all of our best content of the day, make sure you follow us on Facebook, X, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. For Travis Thomas and Ante Campbell, thanks for tuning in to Hold My Banner. Till next time, when we ask you to hold it again. Peace.